Hi, I'm Christian Lee, and I am Puerto Riqueño, which means I am Taino, African, and Spanish. But I'm also half Mexican, but I was born in Panama, but on a US military base. So I'm so mixed, whatever slur you throw at me, you're probably right. But I'm also so mixed, I can't say any of them, and that's not a fight you can start and win. You need street cred, which is just like your credit score. The moment you ask where it's at, it goes down. And I'm not street. I'm barely on the sidewalk. I'm in the garage, still sitting in the car as the gate closes. And behind those gates, I'm a comic who draws comics. Because why settle for poverty when you can throw confusion into the mix? On my 16th birthday, I went to a friend's for a Street Fighter 4 and vegan burritos. My friend pulls out a hot sauce called Spontaneous Combustion that they got from California. What piqued my culinary curiosity wasn't the title. It was the lack of any barcode or indicator this thing even existed. I poured that onto my plate, gave it a slip and slide with my burrito, to which my friend's eyes opened like saucers, like the aliens that we are, and tells me to take it easy. So what do I say? I'm half Puerto Rican, half Mexican, alright? My anus was forged in the heart of a dying star. I think I can handle your vegan burrito and hot sauce, alright? So anyway, my face fell asleep, so I rushed to the kitchen to open the first bottle of juice I see. Except it wasn't. It wasn't juice. The bottle began erupting like a volcano because apparently her older sister likes to make her own hot sauce. So now I'm trying to seal it, going through bottles like I'm trying to pick out the Holy Grail, during which my friend's niece walks out and sees local Chris raiding the pantry looking like a Roman candle. After that calamity for a cold drink, I wound up taking some juice from the fridge, which, in retrospect, seems like it should have been the obvious jumping off point. I feel like this is the hubris at the heart of most Greek tragedies. The type of arrogance of what I put in my body by virtue of its makeup. For instance, I feel that I feel that drinking challenges have gotten really off the handle. The Wall of Fame seems more embarrassing than the Wall of Shame, because at least there you got to walk away with some semblance of, you know what, I'm only a hobbyist degenerate. However, when you have such enticing challenges as drink 20 shots of tequila and a 32-ounce drink in under 2 minutes, that seems like they're not charging you for the alcohol so much as it is a tax for not killing yourself properly. Why am I talking about bars, you might wonder? Well, it's it's weird being treated very inconsistently racist, which I feel that's really my issue. Like if you're gonna give me shit for it, at least have a semblance of continuity. Because for instance, I went to a punk bar in the States, and the bartender looked at my license and said, "Welcome to dry land," and served me. Pretty good, pretty good. But when I walked over afterwards to the comedy club I performed, the bartender looked at my ID and said, "Sorry, you need an American ID? You're really gonna tell me I'm not American enough on Taco Thursday? If I'm not American enough to have your drink, well, you're too American to serve my food." The irony of my life is not lost on me. I left only to trip in a pothole in the handicap parking. I don't think they were racist. They were white, but they weren't white. You know, I don't think we should bully anyone in the service industry. It must be a stressful enough job as it is, especially with the completely masturbatory games people play. For instance, there is a diminishing return on convenience when it comes to exact change. Like not having to break the next quarter over for some change is fine, But at some point, when you just walk in with a piggy bank and just pour it on the counter and have them count it, at that point it seems like it's just for you, because then it turns into a standoff of, oh, you're you don't trust me that all the money's there. Oh, if they don't trust you to an employee where they're in a job where if they are off by a cent, they lose the job, and the clown publicly executes them in front of their family by the play place. Some friends were telling me though, uh, bits and pieces about the secret menu. My favorite is the 1035 burger. If you're wondering what that is, I probably have a better high score cholesterol than you do. But welcome to Fat and Quarterly. The 1035 burger is apparently a burger that there's only a 5-minute window where they switch between the breakfast menu and the lunch menu, which means that you have to time it just right. You need very strategic positioning in your line, because let's be honest, 5 minutes is sometimes not enough for one person to make their order, which means that you have to just Indiana Jones set up an amulet for the sun to go through, hit the menu, and right at solstice, you can cease to compromise between unhealthy food and slightly earlier unhealthy food. I was brought up Catholic, as all kids called Christian. And I gotta say, going to a Catholic school, it was quite the onslaught of very contradicting ideas, most of which were machismo and homophobia. For instance, the priest would walk in. All right, everybody on your knees. In here, we worship dick. All right, but don't you dare enjoy it. Damn it. Well, I guess I'll just focus on the long hair carpenter working that wood with his 12 guys. Catholic school really, it's not an issue of if it messes you up, it's an issue of how. My friend, for instance, was super into anime and really homophobic. Understandably, though, he wrestled with that for a while before he came out, which, as the friend who watched anime with him, makes me wonder, when are my issues gonna bubble up to the surface? Because I think my clash with Catholicism began the day I was born. There I was, newly born in that military base, when they brought the priest in to baptize me. Being the precocious child I was, I baptized him first. Now, you'd think pissing on a priest would be the punchline to a crusty metal song, and yet that's my opening move into the world God condemned me to, before shortly abandoning. I've been having a hard time getting up, so I found an alarm that to turn it off, you have to solve some math. Now, this worked for a while. I would get up, I would look at it, and then I'd have to solve math, and by the time I'm done, I'm already awake and active enough to actually crawl out of bed and get on with my day. However, here's where it backfired. I got good at math. So now I would just barely open my eyes, just samurai through all of the problems, and then just roll over and go back to sleep. So, joke's on me. I'm smarter for it, and I'm back to square one. On the topic of technology and apps, doesn't Instagram sound like the Uber Eats of weed? Captchas are interesting to me because when you look at them, they are the modern day bridge riddle for robots. Riddle me this: which of these 5 images has a car in it? And that's not a very good parameter if you've seen how these things work. But for all these safety measures against a robot uprising, I I think it really it dawned on me not too long ago that we're pretty much safe. And let me walk you through it. I uploaded a picture. It was a self-portrait where I'm drinking some coffee from a mug, but from the mug, there's a hand with a revolver pointed at me. I didn't caption it. I didn't write anything on it. However, immediately after I posted it, all of the ads I got were for bootleg ass suicide themed mugs off the internet, and a calmness came about me as I realized capitalism saved us. Capitalism saved us. Because what did robots learn from us? Not war, not destruction, right? That's what Terminator assumes. But that's just a symptom. What's a corporation actually about more than anything? What's the most human thing than anything? Money. So, you know why robots won't kill us? Because who will they sell to? Who are robots gonna sell to? Robots have no interest in buying things, but they're trained to sell. That's all we do, just nipping at each other's pockets. Robots are shameless. That's a quality we keep to ourselves due to, well, you guessed it, shame. How shameless are robots? You might wonder. Have you ever seen a Wish ad? Wish is just straight up advertising crack pipes in all different colors, fun for the whole family. And I thought about it, and buying a clean crack pipe off Wish is way worse than just smoking off something you found on the ground under a bridge. Because ordering a crack pipe from Wish shows premeditation. Right? You didn't just stumble upon it. It wasn't just a spiral or an impulse. It was a, you know what? In a few weeks after my next paycheck, I think I'm gonna rock out for a bit. I don't think I could handle any sort of stimulant. You know who I am at a party? I I bring my own tea bags in my wallet so I can brew them wherever it is that I'm at. And I'm fine with that. If the opposite end of that is smoking crack, I think I'm fine. Here's why I can't handle that sort of stimulus. I was driving back from a friend's, and it was on the side of a mountain. And as I was coming down, I was thinking, huh, think I suddenly got the hang of this. I'm a little confident driving on this cliffside at night. So I get home, and after a while, when it's time to go to bed, I decide to look for my wallet at 2 a.m. For no real reason, just that, I'm not actively sure where it is. And I looked under the bed, in the shelves, in the freezer. I turned my entire room upside down. And, my first thought was, you know, maybe I actually did die driving down that mountainside. And the reason I can't find my wallet is because my driver's license is in there. So that's the hint of what really happened. And I'm just in denial about having perished because death is an impossibility in the mind of the living. So I just refuse to let go that, oh, wait, it slipped into the passenger side when I parked. All right. Yeah, that makes sense. I can't believe it's current year and we're still fighting over legal, safe abortion. Like, that should be a given, right? But apparently not. So, with the absence of Plan A and the cost of Plan B, after much deliberation, I've decided to come out as an anti-vaxxer, or Antiva. I think we could use the rebranding. Not because I don't think vaccines don't work. Much to my dismay, I'm old enough to know that they do work. But having a kid used to be a bit of a binary. You either have it or you don't. However, with technology today, you can have your child and just if you're on the fence, just try it out. See if you like it. If you do, treat it like a phone contract. Just give your kid a little poke with a needle, and boom, vaccine. Then you'll get to keep it for longer. If you don't like it, then you don't need to do anything about it. It's gonna solve itself. On a secondary note, I feel so many people talk about us needing a new plague to really thin the herd of humanity, and I'm trying to not be a hypocrite about it, following Gandhi's philosophy and be the plague I want to see in the world. We call our friend's boyfriend the Nintendo 64. He thinks it's his sad boy vaporwave aesthetic. It's because no matter how much you blow him, he still won't work. If you order nachos, your utensils say a lot about the timeline you're working on. A fork says, I'm gonna finish this. A spoon says, later. The only thing worse than fingerless gloves are toe socks. A toe sock says, I'm rocking a fetish on company time. If you can't live in a self storage unit, that's false advertisement. A slurp is above a sip, yet beneath a gulp. If you don't believe me, ask any of your American friends. They love using slurps. I've been staring at filth all day, so I cleaned my glasses. People always try to give you their 2 cents on things, but only give you a penny for your thoughts. But opinions really are a dime a dozen. Hobbies are just stressful shit you're supposed to enjoy. My partner passed away, and I've been moving a lot of their belongings into my room. My friend helping me out said, You need to tidy up, you've become a hoarder. Excuse you, I'm an art student. I'm not a hoarder, I am the proud proprietor of an antique store. Which is to say, I only hoard professionally. About to turn my problems to profit. Have people pay me to clean my place. Turn this into the opening of a Ghibli film. I had never been to one of those American college parties. TM. Then I got invited to State Paddys. If you're unfamiliar, St. Patrick's, everyone's already gone. So, the week before, everybody drinks like degenerates, or, in the Caucasian vernacular, gets a little rowdy. But it was interesting seeing it firsthand out there in the wilderness. See, if you're from Puerto Rico, the drinking age is 18, which means 15. So by the time you're 18 to 21, you'll have an idea of how to gauge your liquor over longer than half an hour. Not the case here. Everyone is slamming vodka and other low melanin alcohol like they already posted bail. I'm sitting watching them play beer pong. So I retired to the bedroom. Suddenly, my fellow Boricua bursts in. Everybody get the fuck out. What? Someone slipped on the rape alarm, he says. First of all, you don't want to lead with slipped when there's alcohol and a rape alarm involved. If it weren't for his pale complexion and steely blue eyes, I'd be worried for him. Suddenly, it's a flock of college kids pouring outside this apartment complex like an anthill under a garden hose. My thought was, oh no, underage drinking! Oh wait, I'm 22. Wait, does that make me responsible for them? Here's what I learned myself in a crisis. Without a coat in the cold, on some stranger's front door, I'm surprisingly cool and quick to accept potential consequences and move on to the how do we handle this phase. I turn to the person shivering next to me. So, are we going to jail or. But we didn't. Even worse than getting arrested over a hopefully false rape alarm, nobody came. Nobody. At first I thought, what if they figured, it's just kids partying? That should drive up the response factor, not down. All cops are bastards, apparently all cops are negligent. You know what's worse than cops having shown up to that alarm? It's nobody showing up for that alarm. But afterwards, everyone in the soiree came back was safe and accounted for. I really wondered, What kind of party animal am I? If I'd get hammered and join the ruckus at the party, which went on normally, what kind of party person am I? Apparently the kind that hides in a room under a blanket to watch Vsauce. And I'm okay with that. I've noticed whenever I encounter stoners, they always impart a very unique brand of their rolling wisdom. It's like they're all describing to you their different styles of kung fu. Over here, we have the monkey. We hold the tube that comes inside the wrapper, and then we use that for leverage in order to wrap it. Over here, we have the style of the mantis. We use our fingertips and curl our wrists like so to roll. Over here, the crane. We hold it at an angle and we roll it just gingerly enough so as not to spill the precious herb. At such an occasion, at an after party after a band's return show at a garage, I got to my friend's place and I thought, oh wow, this place is so punk rock and death grips. There's graffiti on the walls. There's people doing ollies in the living room. Oh look, my friend took his keys out. Okay, so I guess it's we're calling it a night, right? That's why we're gonna. Oh, it's that kind of party. Haha. Um. So here we go again. My social lysdexia has failed to read the signs yet again. Oh, it's one of those parties. My social dysdexia has failed to read the signs yet again. See, the thing about being around people who are doing coke is that it's not your fault the first time. After that, cue my friend walking up to me with a jar of beer with a tarantula in it. I asked him, "Hey, is that tarantula doing all right?" "All right, it's having a better time than all of us." And it looked dead, so I guess he was right. I would later that year ask him, "Hey, whatever happened to that tarantula? The one in the beer jar?" His response, "Which one?" Poetry is a weird medium. It's always a work in progress of something that's over. In retrospect, a poor choice of format for someone who hates embellished truths and severance package affections. Cadence is uniform, a poor way to subsidize the imagination of the reader. A puzzle made of jagged scraps, poorly chewed, undigested feelings, regurgitated subjectivities, and masturbatory rhetorics. Does that mean you like it? Or hurry up? I don't understand cheer as an acceptable heckle, but that's on me for not disclosing rhythms. Nothing I've felt is likely original. Writing is hard when you don't want to open up that chest of things buried. What's a clever way to say I feel like shit? Besides availing truths to no avail, set sail, even if it means to fail. A default setting on a compass, constantly pointing south on an ocean I try to stomach in the confines of a sea. To blindly drown the fact, if I'd spent half as much time making as I have worrying, I'd never have to either. In lieu of the latter, do the former, and I pretend to care. Don't talk to me. I don't want to be alone. Most days I feel like shearing off my face or shoving a crowbar in someone's mouth and pry their thoughts. This isn't to you as much as it is for me. I have reason to be unreasonable, but that's annoying if you don't, unexpected if you do. But it's never about you. Are you a boy or a girl? I'm a comic. But what's in your pants? A joke. I'd read it to you, but it's long, takes a while to set up, and takes a weird left turn. I can't give you a straightforward answer if your question puts me in a corner. Masculinity offered a spare room, not a home, never the keys. For what? To tell you which way of expressing yourself is wrong? But it's unfair to complain about people not asking how I'm doing, because if they did, and even if they did honestly, is it a formality? But is it on me if I don't open up? and my third eye blinks when I say I'm fine, simply because I'm not dying any quicker. I'm just not living any better. I'm an intruder in my own happiness, a guest under my roof, a corner in my circle. I stay quiet when surrounded because my sadness is loud. A corner. Hey everyone. I'm extremely nervous. Is it okay if I cry? I'm a self-serving, seldom satisfied, smugly smirking, sadly sulking caricature of all the pain I'm expected to be in, because it's easy to shelf someone as hard to understand. Constantly complaining Chris cursed current conditions cautiously, causing candid cadence continuous consternation. Could caring console Chris's consumptive course? I don't tell you how to live your life. Don't tell me how to end mine. A man asks me for a light to his cigarette. What a courteous way to get away with murder. And I thank you to match my efforts. He walks away with my lighter. I'd like to complain, but it's worth more to me in his crusty hands and cloudy lungs. A man reciting some dead 60s poet slash predator, depending on who you ask and who you listen to, says, "Isn't it ironic you're self-deprecating about your dream job? Isn't it ironic you're riding an iconoclast's dick?" In the bar next door to the open mic, at a table while friends catch up, one had placed her impractically small purse on the table. Well, or so I say, being privileged with pockets. It said, "Tequila XXX," was baby blue and dusted with glitter. Something about it seemed engrossed by risk, yet naive to consequence, of a bar so capitalistically hedonistic. Their wall of fame seemed less graceful than their wall of shame. I kept staring at the purse, and couldn't help but wonder if that's the type of thing guys my age look for in girls her age. Growing up, the options were people my age who acted at 10 or people 10 years my senior who acted my age. The bait of being wanted validated my maturity by those wanting to take advantage of my lack thereof. Vertigo from the shoulders of giants. And I noticed the giant mojitos and curacao fish bowls of the evening, and all the colored drinks that looked distorted before imbibing. The only thing I could think to look for was a lid. It did, however, make me reconsider the frequencies and tempos of a hangout. The wine and dine with someone fine who calls you mine. The craft beer and talking clear because the music isn't crushing your ear. The bar crawl, where everyone's drenched in someone else's sweat, yelling over each other at the bartender who can't hear over the music. Everyone shut up. Can't you see? I'm the ripe old age of one person at a time, please. I didn't know the first thing on... but the voice in my headphones seemed pretty upset about losing it, so I did everything I could to avoid it, to laugh condescendingly, leering from the bench across the fountain pen scribbles of wildlife so fucking wild about life. A cardiac ornithologist transcribing that look in their eyes in a language I'd rather cleave my lips off before speaking. These are appendages the lonely don't need. I asked the person with the stripe on their finger that hadn't seen sunlight in 20 years what this means. An open secret of treasure, so off I was to bury it, seemingly unburdened of its contents, but not of its weight, barred every window, unbreakable. A tap has shifted the plates on my chest. Reverse fault, planar fracture, displacement of the hard subduction zone between the ribs, a new continent revealed, exposed, vulnerable. Sunstripe told me, "You don't hurt the ones you love, you hurt the ones who love you," and in that moment I felt so weak. I appraised power and the capacity to hurt. They asked me, "Really? Do you want to be powerful or beloved? It takes a lot of love to hurt yourself with all scars and no bruises. Main menu. New game. Character creation. Who do you want to be? Engineer? No, that class is a tedious build. Psychologist. I want to solo, not be a support class. Artist. Yeah, it's grindy, but has a great end game. +5 creativity. 20% of people questioning your life choices. Please enter your name. Christian. Taken. Chris with a number 1. Taken. Lee? Are you sure? Game start. Tutorial. Use eyes to look around. Well, that's a given. Good. Use legs to move. Can't I go any faster? Use your tongue to interact with other characters during and outside of combat. Try again. I keep hurting them. Why won't they go down? Level up. Achievement unlocked. Level 10 reached. Can I invite others to play? Invitation sent. Invitation accepted. Players have joined your party. Level 14 reached. Dungeon entered. High school. Friends have left your party. Friends have joined your party. Friends have left your party. I can get through it alone. I've built a solo character anyway. Level 15 reached. First floor, clear. This is getting tiresome. Level 16 reached. Second floor, clear. Can I stop playing? Level 17 reached. Might as well take on the advanced quests while I'm here. Friend request sent. Friend request accepted. Friend has joined your party. You know what? I think I can get through this. Third floor, clear. Dungeon completed. S rank acquired. Haha, we did it. Maybe I should accept their guild invitation. I've never had a guild friend before. Invitation sent. You are now part of the Ever Dispute Guild. Awesome. Dungeon entered. College. Level 18 reached. Guildmate has sent you a gift. Wow. Well, this item's so rare. How'd they manage? Server update. 2014 patched installed. Please restart the game. Select character. Slot 1. Lee, level 18 artist. You have been removed from guild. But why? Status ailment, paralyze. Status ailment, burn. Party invitation received. I want to solo again. Decline. Party invitation received. Decline. Party invitation received. Party invitation received. Party invitation received. Accept. Friends have joined your party. Thanks for the invite, but I'll probably leave soon. I don't feel like playing for very long. You are paralyzed. You are unable to act this turn. You take damage from burn. But while you're here, can you help me out? Party member uses potion. You take a swig and heal 50 points. You take 30 damage from burn. Could you turn up the music while you're here? Party member uses the cure. Burn status removed. Thanks. I don't know how much more I could take. Quest invitation received. Look, I'd love to, but this is a boss fight I'm just not ready for. Party member casts courage. Alright, sure. I'm ready to face it. Now entering boss area. Please select action. Let's talk. You lose, press hard to continue. Well, can we at least... You lose, press hard to continue. Listen, if we could just... You lose, press hard to continue. But I have so many questions. You lose. You are out of hearts. Pfft. No, I'm never out of heart. I went to a house party. We played a drinking game where our names go in and a dare comes out. Lee, take a drink for every heart you've broken. What kind of person am I? Glass half full or half empty? Maybe I knock it over assuming nobody's poured themselves out for me. Am I too guilty to drink it or to let it sit? Do I plead ignorance to play with my food? Or am I the jar accidentally, or purposely, or necessarily, depending on whom you ask, shut so tight it either breaks or slits the side of your finger when you pry it open? Whatever dead thing has been fermenting in the back of the fridge. I want you to come to the show because I can't choose between dancing and holding your hand. I want to listen to the songs you keep as a secret to yourself. Only your headphones whisper on your way to class. Where I feel like I'm stalking you because your Spotify lets me know when you're missing me. That and it's, well, literally music to my ears. Music that makes me feel, well, not well, sad. But like a different kind of sad, you know? Deluxe diet vanilla sad. Growing pains, and it's my fault, but not really, but really, really sad. How do I press delete on this? Okay, start over. I want to tell you things like when I buried two people the same week and my grandma threw away the Ravenclaw tie I told you about because it came apart in all the ways I couldn't, or because something had to. On that drive home when I got the news, or when I got home to put it behind me, when I then got the call, hey, they're pulling Kelvin's plug tomorrow. He was in an accident right in your town. Or that I never told anyone that. Or that I didn't know what I felt or if I was okay. That the one thing I focused on was the taste for red meat across the street from the first funeral, so the gritting of my teeth made sense. Tell you that I didn't know what to do with love that didn't hurt, because growing up, love meant if I did my homework just right for enough nights in a row, maybe the bruises would fade, and I'd finally learn the color of my skin. Crying meant hearing, "Are you laughing? So sorry I can't take your call, they just both sound the same." I didn't know what to do with love that didn't hurt. The first time I heard "I love you" was in anger because I didn't want to make it, even when I was sober. That "te quiero" is just a euphemism for goodbye. The closest I've felt to love was juggling the honeymoon and grieving phase, so I'd be overjoyed yet crying every night, and was the last person to find out I lost 50 pounds in 3 months, but in the vernacular to make a punchline of disorder, "Está como lo enamorado que no comes." I took my nursing friend's stethoscope and couldn't hear my own heart, but he assured me it was there, and then when he put it to my chest said, "You just have a naturally slow heart." That explains a lot. This time of year, the sun sets around 4 p.m. where I'm at, so every bus ride looks like the last. The pitch black of the windows made it feel like a submarine where all I could see with each passing neighborhood were the floating, weightless contours of each house as framed by the fairy lights, leaving its contents to the same conjecture of an empty box I threw at you and called a puzzle. Sorry I'm messaging you at this hour. I drink to prevent messages. I don't know if you still want to grab one when we're just filling each other's cup with something that was never really ours, because I picked a bad time to not give up. I'm here for the exorcism. It's not the house that's haunted, baby, it's the temple I carry the virtue of me within, and I'm here to purge. White noise music, blackout poetry, a plurality of crossroads, figuring out what it's like to be 20 something with the fear that every or anyone has a microcosm of thoughts perched beneath your tongue. Do you read the patterns and everything? Like the Rorschach on my back when I sweat? Or is the world a slate to project the mind? Are people around you disingenuous? Or wait, does that appraisal say more about you? Wait, pardon. Appraisal is a capitalistic vestige to veil judgment on a metric, some hierarchy of values where the price is wrong, third eye blinks, hierarchies mean nothing. Up and down go the same way in a circle. There's nothing wrong with wanting to be on top. There's something fun about wanting to be bottom. Uh-oh, how long has it been? I think we just had forever. What do you want to do with the rest of our evening? A walk before the sun sets, because it may not have the same sounds again. The paper on the wall tastes blue, but who keeps drawing nooses on the clouds? Maybe if they rain, they'll let you down. We're bored. We're We are the universe showing off to itself. A universe apparently smug enough to impart you with the inquiry of itself. More importantly, when's the last time you felt the grass beneath you without feeling it's beneath you? Let's go for a walk. What's that down the street? A dead tree, a stump that looked like a giant decaying root canal, withering paper pattern. How long was it there before the houses built around it that severed the green from its magic so we could poke a stick at a cosmic dead body and be bored? Our friend who's good at math explaining infinity is meaningless. In a coin toss, it'll calm us down or push us off the edge. The impossibility of death in the mind of the living guarantees we'll always land on the side we're alive in our own parallax. A playlist that keeps repeating from a supergroup to a band that's super old and super dead. A superlatively trying to remember this is an actual moment in our lives and that I can keep a Polaroid of that time I was a schizoid, void of use, paranoid, profuse, please clean after use. This ritual has gone from mania to a used up tissue of teenage ugh after feeling like kids again. And rediscovering the fear of growth is healthy and not as terrifying as the complacency of stagnation. Come here, he said, till the vodka breath was too loud for whatever he said. Thank you for having enough fun for both of us. Turning the music down to apologize, I couldn't hear it. Restart it, I say thanks. You turn it back down, ask you if you should restart it for the 12th time. No, I'm sick of trying. But I know you can't help but write it out. I have to get you somewhere when you're already gone. You step out. I try to turn your car around while I catch your domestic dispute in the rearview mirror. You say she's the love of your life till you're sober and tell me she's holding you hostage. After parties are weird. The house music is all they play, but it's the only place it plays. This place that a place where nobody prays, this church of hedonism appraised by the time that doesn't really exist. A choir of dust, a wage of trust, drink until the cans rust, a sacrament too. Everybody knows each other from the present. Everybody says hi and how they are, till they let out a dance. Thanks to whatever's in them, complex misperception, making choice without direction. Is this time for threat detection, or should we be asking questions? Am I refusing to let go? Am I my own fourth wall? Or a voyeur in my own life? Does wanting to be aware of everything take me from being present in anything? When I got off work, I had to take a bus to transport this kid from the island of enchantment to the city of steel. I asked the lady when the 77 to Herron would arrive. She said 15 minutes, and as it arrived, she said, "Have a safe trip home." As I headed off to the punk bar with the hoagie special, I thanked her. If I corrected her, I'd be a liar. I hadn't understood the word uprooted until I learned you can't flourish anywhere without growing roots. So I planned my stay and felt myself beneath my boots. My favorite draft flowed. I put $1 in the jukebox by the zine shelf where the punk across the bar kept the flag flying. and we silently conversed over the words of an artist who killed himself in the 90s on April Fools, from a band I like because they stapled death at the end of my name. There's a comfort in the walls painted black, lined with a mosaic of graffiti and stickers of bands, artists, and human fucking beings whose names are still there and I hear tossed about, who were here at some point and this meant something to them before it did to anybody who hadn't made it. Walls that are a perpetual work in progress, left without the gentrified vandalism of an eggshell white from a department store catalog, trading suits and ties for boots and dyes, in an exercise to equate stability with stagnation. As a teenager, that fairy tale seemed fun at best, quick at worst. It was neither, and yet I missed it. A mechanical endeavor because my patience wore thinner. Was I too late to say no after the door had locked? Body in one room while I waited in the other, practicing my gratitude for the hospitality of the temple I was held hostage in, certain there were no casualties. Am I too big to complain about a little death? It was a confusing situation in an unknown location, an asphalt forest, where I sat between two cartoon wolves howling at the moon to get inside the belly of someone who took a bite out of me, burdened by the perennial good problem to have. Of course you love me. Why else would you say it over an orchestra of plates? What can I do but nurse my skin off your jowls? You're not a monster, it's just your nature. And my resentment shifted to pity as I realized cruelty is a learned behavior, and your piano teeth smashed a cacophony, clenched note, dropped things, cut strings, and missing keys. I was an expert in being someone's secret. Trust makes me feel like I have a gambling problem. There's no winning, honestly. Maybe I'm just stingy about information. Time alone is weird. We exist in that place where we cross our pinkies and became the only witnesses to whom each other was at that exact time. Another member of the club of never really ours. If you're no longer a monster, does still being hurt make me a lousy survivor? On the drive to the hospital, I saw a dead dog on the side of the road I take. It was splayed open, red off my periphery. A guilty glimpse at a vivisection at the cross of a flooded intersection. It wasn't until the end of the week on my way to the hospital that it seemed to have desiccated. And for the first time it seemed dead. No maggots, no gag-inducing empathy. It had gone from a living thing to things living off, to just thing. I'm just as guilty as I am fascinated by something so conventionally macabre. But I couldn't help notice a car accident is the type of thing that the longer you stare at it, the likelier it is to. Pros and cons of a room on the second floor. Pro, you can always take the stairs. Con, you only have one floor's time to cry in the elevator. By the time you got to the fifth floor, I was an expert at compressed crying. I have mastered every facial muscle after their visceral contractions. Security doesn't give me a sticker or ask where I'm going. I skip the line with a nod from the guard to see you. Somewhere between the 27th and 28th step, it dawns on me that's a sad privilege. The nurses said to put on a mask in case you're breathtaking. I kept all 17 and put them in a living jar, along with the old zines and foreign coins that are worth something if only because they're unspendable, or as I like to call them, priceless. I kept the gloves on through the drive home, resting my head on the last thing that touched you. On the way home, the day before, I understood that ads sell happiness. The billboards read, La vida solo es una. Transfer day. No dejes que el dolor te detenga. Every time you blink, a cavalcade of wishes to make and blow away. The day the lashes fell, I stopped believing in magic. There was nothing they could grant me besides opening the green they adorned. Clasped your hands with an eye on the heart monitor, the peaks and valleys of your pulse, drifting further away until they went from a topography to a flatland. As the mountains became a horizon you drifted towards, and the coin flip that was said to be on your side, they were placed over your eyes. Pulmonary fibrosis turns deep breaths into deeper guilt. I can't commit my voice to memory, but ears ring from how hard I cried, heckling the priest making light, while all I see is dark burying my face in my friend's shoulder. I used to cry as a kid. When I grew up, I forgot how. Now that we can't grow old, I forgot how not to. I get nervous. I didn't know how people drove. I learned how to drive to visit gaps at the hospital every day. So now where do I go? When there's no one to show all the ways we'd grow. I pull up at the side of the road because these cars keep flashing their lights. It's raining a torrent on both sides of the glass because I remember you telling me which hat you liked and why. You liked my hat, the gray one, porque te calienta las orejitas. Then it hits me like a truck I'm trying not to swerve into. That likes to liked are a letter away, right next to each other on a keyboard, but the tenses of your presence are a continent apart. I feel my sadness is loud, even when I shut up, so I try listening to my friends talk and feel sorry I'm not there. I nod along because their problems begin where my grief ends. I'm so upset you weren't there for my birthday. Is this how you felt when nobody invited me to yours? The mural I'd helped make was finally getting inaugurated on my birthday. That clock hits midnight. My friend gets off work and picks me up 2 hours later. He asks, "How long have you been crying?" I answer, "How long have I been 24?" He takes out pitorro that looks like blood and shots that look like tiny wine glasses. Is this how vampires feel? I don't feel alive. Just give me the powers and skip this trial version. I drink because my partner died. My friend drinks because their partner threatens to. It's times like these I fucking hate feeling like my favorite songs. Am I living? Am I dead? Am I somewhere in the middle? Is it good that Friday I'm in love, if Thursday I'm a widow? When my friend got buried, his parents told his fiancée, "Thanks for loving him." When I saw her staring at her phone in a chair that lost its swivel, I didn't think I'd walk a mile in her shoes. They're too heavy to step out of the house sometimes. Thanks for loving them. I didn't understand those words. For holding your hand till your aunt had to pull me from the room. I looked up the statistics of couples going through the news. The amount of lovers who said, "Sorry the doctor spoiled the movie. You don't have to stay to watch the end." I suppose there's a reassurance in knowing we're not the first two people to love each other this way. Nor will we be the last. Somewhere else, someone else, took their partner's sunflower yellow cardigan off the rack just to dance with it, fastened so firmly behind me I can swing in it. I don't miss you when I see something you'd like. I miss you when I want to tell you about it. S and D, neighbors on a keyboard, are consonant apart when shifting present to past. The shift in my breastplate is intense. I never write about things until they're over, and I knew I'd be writing about you soon, and often. Receipts of times something we shared reverberated while I drive. Oh no, I've sped past you. The plans we made remain an XO on the calendar of my rearview mirror. Maybe if I floor it, I can catch up to you. This was a year of growing pains, and I am a giant with shoulder blades to eclipse the sun. You said this was a year of healing, and I think that means all of us. What can we say except we love you, so you'll live forever?